I want both. Bisexuals. Those who are sexually interested in both men and women. Sounds like a lot of fun, right? But what if it's your partner who is coming out as bi? You might be in a situation that feels a little less fun and a lot more like your head is going to explode. And there's a lot about coming out and exploring your life as a new bi-identifying person. But today, I want to talk about what to do if you're the person in a committed romantic or sexual relationship with the person who's just come out to you as bisexual. Because having your partner come out to you as bi can be a really challenging experience to navigate. You might feel shocked or confused. You may feel threatened and insecure by this new information. And you might wonder if you can ever make it work between the two of you. And all of those feelings are totally valid. But just because your girlfriend has come out to you as bi does not mean that you're going to be left in the dust while she rides off on a rainbow sunset of bottomless, I wish. There is a way to handle this transition that sets up your relationship to succeed and possibly even thrive in these new circumstances. And today I'm going to go over the 4 do's and don'ts of what to do if your partner comes out as bisexual. Be sure to watch this video all the way through because these tips actually apply to both bi people and their partners. First, I'd like to start by sharing something personal. I am bisexual. Ta-da! So I actually came out to bi for the first time at the age of 14 to my dad based on a video that I had picked out at Blockbuster about lesbians, at which point he said to me, I'm worried about you. And I said something back to him like, yeah, I think you should be. It was all fun. I had a great relationship with my dad. He didn't really shame me about it. But I think both of us in that moment had a realization that I was not perfectly straight. I was not going to grow up to be perfectly straight, and that it was also important for me to be exploring this identity through even as something as simple as like which DVD I was choosing. I'm going to say DVD. I do not think it was a VHS. I'm not quite that old. So anyways, needless to say, in addition to being a sex and relationship expert, I also have experience with this situation, not to mention that I was a professional researcher working on behaviorally bisexual women, and I'm actually published on the subject. So what I'm trying to say is that you should definitely subscribe to me here and find me on Instagram and on TikTok at Caitlin Victorious X. What I've learned over my many years of being queer and figuring it out is that the key to navigating this type of new uncharted territory is finding a balance between validating your own feelings and holding space for that of your partners. So how do you strike that balance? Well, number 1, you've got to know that it's not about you. I understand that hearing that your partner is attracted to another person or another gender can be a big pill to swallow. It is shocking. It might be upsetting. It might cause you distress to know that you're not able to satisfy all of their desires. And you might worry about what this means for the future of your relationship. In fact, you might be wondering if they've been satisfied in sex all the other times. These thoughts are perfectly natural, but it is really important to remember that this is actually about their experience. The fact that they're bi doesn't change the love or the interest that they have in you. It just means that there is a new part of them being brought into your dynamic. They would still be bisexual whether or not they were with you. There's not a person on the planet who could actually change that based on the person who they're with. The good news is that it's actually not about you. Your bisexual partner isn't dissatisfied in your relationship. They just happen to be bisexual. And what if your reaction happens to be a big yes, girl on girl action? Well, the same goes true. Whether you like the idea of your partner being bi or not, it's still not about you. And the truth is that you can't really jump to any conclusions about what your partner's bisexuality means. It's stuff that you're gonna have to figure out together over time. At the point of them coming out to you, the best thing you can do is just listen and receive this really personal, really vulnerable information with as much love as possible. Even if you are pretty darn tempted to be fantasizing about her and her best friend wrestling in a pool of jello just for your viewing pleasure, and maybe she'll be perfectly into that, the first thing that you've got to do is be able to listen and hold space for her experience while she's figuring it out. It's also worth noting that there's a distinction between identity and behavior. She may identify as bisexual, but never have sexual contact with another woman. I mean, by the same token, I know a lot of women who have tons of sex with women and don't identify as bi. At this point, we still don't know how your partner's bisexuality is going to affect your relationship. All we do know is that they've done a very brave thing by sharing that with you, and you can say, thank you so much for being honest with me. Step 2, ask questions. So now you're comforted by the knowledge that their discovery isn't about you. You've thanked them for being honest and sharing, and now what? Well, if your partner comes out as bi, you're probably going to have a lot of questions, and it is okay to ask, especially about things that are going to affect you. I mean, you are in the position where you're wrapping your head around what this discovery means in the context of your relationship, because it's going to be different for everyone and every relationship. Does she need to explore this physically? Does it mean that she wants to start seeing other women? Does she want to start seeing them alone or with you in a non-monogamous situation? Does she want to stay monogamous with you, but she wants to share with you that she has a fantasy about having sex with the same sex? There isn't a right or a wrong way to navigate this. My recommendation is that you just both approach it with love, understanding, and compassion. And of course, if you are in a monogamous relationship where you're only having sex and feelings with each other, this might mean transitioning into an open relationship. And if that's the case, there's nothing to fear. There's so many great resources out there. In fact, I've made some videos on how to know if non-monogamy is right for you. So check that out and know that you don't have to have all the answers right now. It's going to be a process in figuring them out, which brings me to number 3, which is take the time you need to process. If your partner comes out to you, you're going to have a lot of questions. You're not going to know exactly what to do, and you're definitely not going to know how you feel about it. Totally normal. Do not expect to have it figured out all right away. And certainly don't expect that it's going to just be like this one conversation. We got to hash it all out right now. It's going to be a series of conversations. And to be honest, you'll never really ever get to the bottom of things. You're just always on the journey of figuring it out. And if you feel overwhelmed, then give yourself the gift of some time to think. It's okay to tell your partner that you need to separate for a moment, collect yourself, and collect your thoughts. This is where it is important for you to validate your own feelings. If your partner has told you that they're bisexual and they want to explore this in a physical way with other people, you have every right to not be okay with that. You might be a traditional heterosexual monogamist, and this may be the end of your relationship. Or you may decide that you're going to keep your relationship and you're going to figure out a way to make it work for you. But either way, I recommend not coming to that decision from a emotional or a triggered or a highly uncomfortable place. It's way better to take a moment to process, maybe to talk with trusted people like a coach. If you are in this situation and you want to apply for coaching with me, there's a link down below. But working this out with a trusted friend or someone who has just an open mind and a shoulder to cry on is perfect too. Both you and your partners have to figure out how to live your most authentic lives. And if you can do that together, amazing. And if you need to separate to do that, well, on to the many other fish that are in the sea. The most important thing is for you to respect your partner's needs and your own, and not move from a place of fear, and certainly do not compromise more than you are capable of just to make your partner happy, and do not ask them to do that. That is the biggest recipe for resentment, and as one of my coaches wisely said, resentment is the biggest boner killer of them all. Number 4, see this as an opportunity to explore. So your partner is opening themselves up to a new side of their sexuality. They are bringing in a new layer into the dynamic of your relationship. And I invite you to take this as an opportunity to do the same. Take inspiration from your partner's bravery and follow suit. Ask yourself, what am I missing from my sex life? Whether that is exploring different genders, different people, different preferences, the door has been opened, and it is an opportunity for both of you to communicate the changes you may want to make to your relationship. Maybe you want to do a little BDSM. Maybe you want to incorporate more toys, or you just want to lick a pound of whipped cream off of each other's bodies. Highly recommend. The sky is the limit. Partnerships that have vulnerable, honest communication are able to go anywhere and weather anything. When we keep our hearts open and keep loving each other through these changes, we end up shaking ourselves all the way down to the foundation, and we can build up something that is even better, stronger, and cooler than the relationship that we thought we had before. Now, it can be scary, of course, because you're gonna have to grieve the relationship that you used to have. You grieve the part of you that was heterosexual in a heterosexual relationship with a heterosexual person, and you grieve the part of your monogamous relationship that you lost. Even though you didn't break up doesn't mean that something didn't die, something didn't end, something isn't over. Part of what grieving allows is a space for us to explore our most authentic selves and rebuild something so that we can have a stronger and deeper and more meaningful relationship. Heavy stuff, but I am so confident that you can navigate this. And if you would like some help, I would love to be there to support you. And the way that I do that is through my coaching program called High Performance Male. In it, we talk about building relationships, we talk about communication, we talk about confidence, we talk about mindset, we talk about male and female anatomy. And me and my team create a supportive space for you to work these things out, because nothing is worse than not having anyone to talk to about your struggles, whether they're big or small, sexual or romantic, emotional, personal, professional, whatever. Having a community in which you can share and hear feedback and get to be the strongest, most confident version of yourself is indispensable. No matter what kind of relationship challenge you may be experiencing, I would love the opportunity to learn more about you and see how I and my team can help. There is a link to our program, High Performance Male, in the description. Please, please, please apply if you could use some guidance. I am Caitlin B. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you here next time.